begin our interviews for construction management firms for our police station, which was voted in at when was it? March. In March. It was voted in March. And obviously for anyone who was not aware that we actually received a petition a few weeks ago, and we actually had a recount of that vote, and it remained exactly the same. So we knew at that point that it is official, and I guess 2 or 3 counts of the same votes, and the number comes out the same. That's a good thing. So our first company that's here is Hutter Construction. Is it Hutter Construction, New Ipswich, New Hampshire. And what we're going to do is we have questions. We kind of have a list of questions. Obviously, we understand that some of those questions will, it'll follow up with more questions, all right? And we're not, you have our questions. I'll just leave it at that. I won't say anything about we are not, all right? Our first question, I assume you're going to, Mr. Lars.
I can facilitate it.
All right, and then it'll go around. All right. And just for, we obviously have the president, and it's Lars Traffy. We have the Director of Pre-Construction Services, Mr.
David
Lake. All right. And then we have the Project Superintendent, Todd. All right. And then we have the Senior Project Manager, I can pronounce this one, David Ross, Jr. That was an easy one. All right. Our first question, we'll start right off. Our first question. You know the other construction management firms that are being interviewed.
I actually don't.
So. Okay. All right. Oh, so this is going to end right off shortly. Well, let me finish my question. Maybe there'll be something. All right. You know the other construction management firms that are being interviewed for this project. Without speaking disparagingly of those firms, you don't know anything about them, so we might as well skip number 1. Okay. Let's go to number 2.
I just saw North Branch.
Yes. Yes. All right.
But actually, I know North Branch is involved. Who else is involved?
Our other interview is
Bonnet Page and Stone.
Bonnet Page and Stone. All right.
So,
Go ahead.
so what's your question?
Oh, so you want me to continue it? Please tell us why you believe your firm is especially well suited for this project.
You've selected a great list of contractors. We have, especially with Bonnet Page and Stone, as we've worked together for the last 40-some years in this business, we have great respect for one another.
Yep.
And North Branch has certainly proved to be competent and capable in this arena. So, I think you won't go wrong with any of the 3, to be perfectly honest and truthful. What I would encourage you to do is to just weigh out which one you think you can join a trusted partnership with to accomplish this goal, especially if you're trying to look through working through the pre-construction, the design, and trying to keep a budget. What Hutter Construction has is a long track record of doing exactly that on multiple projects, especially in the public eye, of setting a budget up front and being able to keep it and performing it on budget and on schedule. So, what do we bring that I think would differentiate maybe between this is the timing is perfect in that I could bring Dave Lades with how many years of construction experience?
36. I already asked him.
Dave Ross has
Probably around 30.
27 or 28, and which majority is with us, and Todd has over 30 years as well. I built your post office here in 91, was it?
Now you're aging yourself.
So, then we did the manufacturing buildings after that. So I think what we're bringing in the timing, you don't always get to time when projects are finishing up, but the timing would be is we've got sort of great wealth of experience that's available for this project.
Awesome.
Which would differentiate our team.
All right. Okay. We believe that the budget for completing this project is going to be a challenge, especially because I'm going to keep it from beginning to end. And it's going to require dedicated teamwork to achieve the town's goals. Please tell us the team structure that you envision to navigate the potential pitfalls of this project, their functions and timeline. Okay?
So, I do believe, and the two days, Dave Ross and Dave
Yeah.
kind of went over those numbers.
Yeah.
Monday again today. I do believe that, and assuming there was about a 25% value for soft costs, I think, if you're at 3.5, is that where you are, close to your budget? I think it's doable. It's a challenging, yes. Is there a correction coming in the marketplace? I do think that timing might actually be in your
In our favor. I agree with that.
I believe and have confidence that we can build this project for that budget. So, I'll defer to Dave on the pre-construction, and then Dave Ross on how he would handle it through the buyout and through the construction process.
And I'd like to expand on what Lars was saying about the budget, because I did run through your numbers to see, first of all, do you have enough money to do it?
Yep.
And comparing it to two recent police stations that we've done in Massachusetts, which is a more expensive state to build in than what we have here in New Hampshire because of their prevailing wage laws. And with those budgets, comparable, I excluded the site work on those because those were large development projects, okay, as far as site. One was probably over 10 acres and the other one may have been around 3 acres. But you have such a compact site that I didn't think it was a fair equation to put in there. And your numbers are just right in the target where they should be. Because the one was done in 2014, the other one was done in 2016. So back then they were larger police stations, probably one of them was 18,000 square feet, and the other one was a combined police station, and a portion of it was a DPW division, not with strictly administrative offices. And we were looking at that at about $275 and $300 a square foot. And when I backed into your number, and I know the soft costs that were originally budgeted were around, I believe, 15 or 18%. And my rule of thumb is I was putting 25%. So I took 25% off, backed it out, and you're at $309 a square foot. So you are.
How much was that a square foot? You said?
309.
309. If you take your budget, deduct the 25% for your soft cost, you'd be about $309 a square foot.
Okay.
And I think that's in New Hampshire, very good.
Okay.
And I agree with what Lars said as far as the market correction. I think, usually we go into this time in May and June, and it's actually a time.
Busy
when
time.
It's tough to get prices and those type of things, but I think we all believe and we know that given the situation and the uncertainty that's out there, I think there are going to be projects that, unlike this one, that are in the private sector that may or may not be going forward. There's going to be subcontractors that are looking for work. We certainly, we like to go out to the local contractors and give them an opportunity. That's usually where we'll start. We'd like to find out if there's any contractors that you have that you'd like us to add to the bid list as well. But we will certainly do that. And then as we said, I think the timing may work to your benefit.
I know that there are, only having some connections with construction, is that there are a lot of what I consider large projects that have been put on hold. They're not even moving any further forward with them. And obviously our governor has made it pretty clear that there's going to be a lot of state projects that are not going to be happening this year. And not for nothing, but we typically are in that same ballpark as far as road work goes. We've kind of froze everything at this point. So that was kind of my gut feeling, is actually we might be able to do even better pricing wise due to the timing, that's for sure. All right. Any?
I'd like to add one more.
Yeah.
Because I think the last part of your question was, how do we assure what we refer to as cost certainty? How do we manage that?
Right.
And in the handout that we provided to you, you'll see there are
Yep.
3 separate sections on how we do that. So I don't know if you want us to explain that, our process, how,
And that's gonna be important. You know, obviously, the voters have voted in a certain amount of money. We added some to it in case it did not pass this year, all right? So I know in my mind that really 3.5 was more than what we really wanted to spend on this project. And I'm hoping that we will be able to, with the police chief's help, because obviously some of those soft costs, we're hoping to receive some grant money and some things from Homeland Security and that type of thing that will help, all right? But I'm hoping obviously to keep it lower versus right where we voted, that's for sure.
There was discussion of construction management and design build.
Yes.
So
Yep,
to us, that's a little bit, it's not a normal process, we've done it before, but,
okay, now you walked right into another question. Obviously, a few years ago, we had a company come in and looked at all of our buildings, all right? And this is kind of how we came up with this schematic that we have, this location kind of thing. Now, obviously, there's discussion, do we stay with this architect firm that has already done some work for us, or, this is the big question, are you gonna be able to save us more money by, do you have an in-house architect?
We don't.
You don't?
I usually, I have the capability to draft, I have a couple of draftsmen in-house.
Yep.
But I keep the licensing out, just.
So I guess that, this is where I'll go with that, because obviously, is it going to be cheaper for us to retain the company that's already done quite a bit of work and work with you and continue on? Or is it going to be cheaper for us, for you, not for us, for you, to take it full force?
There's typically savings to go with design build, and it comes into, under, one umbrella. I think, there is certainly some advantages to have a single source of responsibility for the design and the budget. It keeps a team approach going where the owner and the design, the owner and the design builder with all of our consultants are all, working toward that one goal, and then we have certainly a regular input on that design to make sure that the budget is kept. So, the opposite of that would be if LaValley, who had the feasibility study, came and designed something, and then it got priced out and found to be over budget. Then there's a whole process that you're paying for them to redesign to get back to the budget, and that's certainly where the savings comes in, is if the what ifs happen.
Okay.
And
we can
Alright.
control it from the beginning of the process a lot better.
If it's design build,
If it's design build, yeah.
okay,
Because I think, as Lars said, that's what we see, and Dave will attest to that, because generally, what happens in the construction management process, the architect, as Lars said, will put together some plans. Let's say we price it at, say, 50% of the design drawings, just to, you're doing your budget checks. And then at that point, if you see things are over budget, they're.
of course, then we're gonna, right,
You're going back, and then, price it at 75 and maybe 100%, so there might be a few pricing iterations to try to keep things on budget. We've worked with LaValley before, they're a good architect, but a lot of architects also really value their design, and they have a hard time letting go of some of the features that they put in early on. So we can kind of be in control of that from the very beginning. As Lars said, it does make a big difference to be able to stay on budget right from the beginning.
okay, all right, awesome. As to establishing a team approach to bringing this project to completion and trying to save money on unnecessary consulting fees and professional tasks and hours, what roles do you ascribe to the project architect? You've really kind of answered that already. I mean, you've kind of with design build and.
we
Yeah.
certainly, through the experience of working on, multiple
Of course.
facilities, right, there's suggestions and things that we can say, you know, that, no, we really do need to get a consultant to provide input or to engineer certain portions of this. Now, we don't have to have, you know, unnecessary consultants and spend, you know, ridiculous
Right.
money on the other sides of that, and we can walk you through that process, from that past experience.
Okay, yeah, which
In
is,
that process, there's also the value of bringing on subcontractors that can handle things as a design.
right, and that's huge,
It's
obviously.
huge.
Yep.
It is.
And I'm sure every contractor has a certain amount of subcontractors that they have done a lot of work with and, you know, and know where they can,
have
you
a
know.
history with
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's obviously, you know, you can throw out names, but everyone's gonna have their few specific, certain people that work well with them. Yep, and obviously that helps cost-wise too,
Yes.
because if they can count on, they know that you're always, you know, giving them work, so to speak, or whatever, that helps in the cost
Make it
part.
hard.
Right, well, that's,
And
yeah,
it can help with schedule as well. It's, you know, if it's a contractor that we deal with quite a bit, and we
Yep.
know how they work, you know, we know that
Yep.
we trust that when they give us schedules, you know, they will stick to it.
You mentioned the certain contractors, but we have some qualified contractors that we actually do benefit from some cost,
Yep.
you know, measures, because I still do employ 130, you know, people, where most of the, you know, and including some of the competition, are down to just construction managers.
Of course, they're subbing everything out, so you have your own employees.
When I have, you know, Granite State Glass is coming to my job, for example, and she know, and Bill knows that Todd is gonna have his forklift and his crews there to help him, you know, take
Yep.
care of that 10 minutes of heavy lifting.
Yep.
He doesn't have to bring a guy there to the job the whole day, you know, and we always pass that back on to the owners.
Yeah, we would typically have, you know, our own equipment on site, like forklifts and, you know,
Lulls,
scissor,
whatever,
boom
yeah.
lifts, you know, it makes it practical for the other trades to use as well.
Of course, because then you don't have the window guy having to go out and rent a forklift or a lull or whatever to get them up there or whatever,
And
yeah.
again, it's like one hand washes the other, you know, they'll do us a favor and we give them, you know,
Yeah,
forklifts, and so it really works out pretty well that way.
let me ask you another question. If, you're awarded this job, is Todd going to be the superintendent?
Yes.
Okay, just, all right. And I guess then my other question is, Todd's the superintendent, and then, no, there wasn't, all right, forget that question, all right, Todd's the superintendent, all right. Let's move on to the next, any questions, guys, so far that?
You're doing well.
A successful project in large part centers around three important functions of the construction manager: expert management, expert estimating, and expert field superintendent. Who are the I already asked that. He's the field superintendent,
I would be here full-time basis,
okay?
and bring in his experience, and as an
Yep.
expert, we could certainly give you plenty of references of many successful projects that he's performed, so.
All right,
He'll be coming off of a new science center at Rivier University, which is, what, $15 million project?
Yeah, that's real.
So that'll be gotten in up here in July. Then Dave Ross would be the project manager.
okay,
Has certainly a wealth of information from, you know, the subcontracting, scheduling, managing you know, the schedule on the project, communicating to the owner. There's a lot of these projects have gone to a collaboration software, so whoever is the point person for the town has secure access to the submittals and the status of everything, and
Okay.
always has a snapshot of where the project is at any minute that they want to look at it. So he manages that system, as well as gives the appropriate people the access to it, so that even when the architect or an engineer or anybody replies to any of those steps in those processes, it's immediately updated. So and Dave would be the one that handles the pre-construction and the original budgeting of the project.
So he's the one that I'll go after for budgeting, right?
Get that?
I'd like to add number 4 is communication.
Huge.
I think,
Communications, good, yep.
That's how Todd and I work. I mean, Todd and I have done projects together. We've done projects from, the size of, a small little project in somebody's house that might be a client that we've worked with for many years,
Yep.
up to I finished an $80 million school in Maine a couple of years ago. So we both handled the gamut of many, many different projects, from the private sector to the, municipality sectors. And communications is really the biggest key and probably the most important thing for success on a project. And as Lars said, we use, with today's new technology, a lot of the contractors are using a software called Procore. Some of them use Nuforma. You'll probably hear that. We have Viewpoint software, which is our accounting software, and we recently just started using Viewpoint Team because they've come out with a software that's comparable to the Procore and the Nuforma. And it's probably one of the best tools that we have that's been out in the last, say 10 years with all these software, where it's really becoming popular. But as Lars said, the biggest thing is that we can, all of the communication from RFIs, requests for information, all the submittals, all of those go to the architectural firm. Everybody on the committee has access to it. All of Todd's daily reports are on there. We upload pictures daily of everything that's happening. You can go on and see what's happening in real time, even if you're not
Yeah,
there.
you could track the whole job, material that's coming in and, all the submittal process and.
Right. So, especially in the times that we're in, it's been a huge benefit for a lot of different, people that we're dealing with on jobs that might not be able to visit the site. They're able to get that information real time. There's notifications on there for the architects, for reminders on, hey, we need this. It shows overdue submittals, overdue RFIs. It helps everybody really stay organized. So I spent a lot of time just managing that, making sure it's up to date, because it's a very, very important tool. But communications, logistics, working in and around occupied facilities, both Todd and I have done that. You build a new building out in the middle of a field somewhere, it's easy.
Sure. Oh, this is gonna be a challenge.
But it'll be a challenge, but it's
Yeah, it's,
legitimately-
it's,
right.
right.
Because of the way the
Yep.
process it's gonna go, I think it's certainly, a way to do it, that's gonna work. But, we're used to working in and around occupied facilities, whether it's hospitals, whether it's schools, whether it's, churches, whatever it might be, office buildings. I mean, we've run the gamut. I mean, biotech facilities. I've done a lot of work for Millipore, in clean rooms, those type of things. So we're certainly used to working in all different types of atmospheres, and having good communications with the committee, the police department is what is going to make a successful project.
Sure. Scheduling in your mind, what are you thinking? Because obviously, depending, it's still got to be designed, it's still got to be, and I understand, obviously, if it's, I would assume, I shouldn't understand, I would assume that if it's someone that has worked for you right along, architectural-wise, design-wise, whatever, that you can obviously have a little bit more, how do I want to say it, control over how fast the plans come out or how fast whatever. So,
Many times we even go one step further, is that by having it as a design build,
yeah,
working with the architect and the engineers, we can stop work
Yeah.
before they're done.
of course.
Because with everybody's blessing on, okay, this is gonna be the footprint, this is where it's gonna get located, you can now order your steel.
Sure.
Steel is along with.
I was just going to say, that was going to be my next question. How are we getting material? I mean, is it still coming?
Yeah,
Well,
most fabrication is still happening.
Okay.
We haven't, at least myself personally on my projects, I just finished steel on terminal addition at the Portsmouth Airport that I'm doing. And so we haven't run into too many material issues,
Yeah.
which is good
Good, yeah,
right now.
all right. Okay, that was kind of,
But are you looking for like, kind of a time frame for the overall design to construction and then end dates, or?
sure, why not?
I mean,
You wanna give it to me? I'll listen to it. What's your,
In my mind, I'm thinking, it's gonna be June first pretty soon, and, you probably be looking at a fall start with, the summer being, as you said, that design time frame, and, maybe it's right after Labor Day start, you'll be able to start, and as Dave said, start to get some of those materials ordered, steel, get all your front-end subcontractors lined up right away, and by doing design, like we said, being able to manage that budget, knowing that cost certainty, if we could get going, we're not gonna go over budget, we'd be able to start.
So you're saying you'd probably, again, here I go, you're gonna have concrete in the ground before winter, you're going to,
The goal would be to get concrete in the ground before winter, get the wet product.
Stuff done. Okay.
And you can do the framing of the shell
right,
and the erection of steel and stuff, and then there'd be minimal winter conditions
right,
involved in.
okay,
so
all right, that's, because obviously,
We would certainly set that as the goal.
right, because obviously winter construction tends to be more expensive, all right, so your goal would be to get the winter issue problems out of the way before, well, we hope before winter came, all right,
That's it, if you bring an architect on, sometimes it's a little bit uncertain because you're working on their schedule, and we
Right.
can push them, but,
All right.
they may say we need 5 months to get the drawings
Sure.
done.
all right, yep, okay, all right,
Again, while it's in the design stage and we're waiting for the building to get started, if this building wasn't needed, we could actually start with the demo of
Yep.
this and get the site ready. and
sure,
Get a good,
head start,
footprint, head start.
Sure.
and,
yep, I was,
He doesn't wanna wait till fall, he wants you to start.
okay, all right. Well, he's looking for something to do, or he doesn't want to go anywhere else, okay, that's right.
We just have a few logistical things to work out with this building.
Of course,
before
oh,
we
no,
can-
well,
Before
that's.
we can take it down to the ground level.
She's panicking, Jean, Jean,
You can't start next week.
Before you started saying all that, I was gonna say, we'd seek first to understand. We'd sit down with you and
I
understand
know,
what,
I figured that, but I understand, okay. Obviously, that kind of, answers number 5, what is your current workload and how well can you accommodate the schedule of this project? And obviously, it's almost turned around, how can we accommodate this schedule? Okay, all right, so obviously, this fits into your schedule,
yes, it does.
okay, all right,
We're flexible too, we obviously recognize the fact that, there's a lot of things that have to happen on the front end.
right,
And, we are gonna be flexible with the logistical plans of how, things are gonna work and
Yeah.
when we can get started. Obviously, as Laura said, the goal is to get started, get things in the ground, just to help save on overall costs for our winter conditions and those things.
sure, all
If
right,
you need help in doing that, making this move, you're gonna go to the mill building, you need a doorway or something, we're here, we can help you.
make a note of that, Jean. Boy, have we got a deal for you. I'm gonna get myself in trouble, no matter what.
We'll keep you out of it.
Okay. Which you've kind of already, some of these questions are a little, okay. Why does this project appeal to your company and the individuals that will be assigned to it, assuming that your firm is hired as the construction management company? Obviously, it's kind of right up your alley by the looks of
No, it's
things.
right up our alley, we take great pride, and especially in buildings such as a police station or a school or monuments of communities around our state. You can ask any one of my kids and drive around and they're like, hey, we built that or whatever, and now they tell me, your dad built that.
Yeah,
Dad built that school, Dad built this fire station, and,
Yeah.
and it's just, part of our mission statement is for the betterment of our communities, and we certainly feel it and live it, so.
okay.
But we enjoy, building them and working with it and providing a service that you have need for, that's what we're in business for.
This is the first time, I think, in Belmont's history that a bond issue has passed the first time it's
It is.
ever been voted. all
Yeah,
right?
on the first, other than, we've had some
Well, little-
water projects
Water
and
or
things
whatever,
like
but
that,
something
certainly no
that
building
the,
projects.
We haven't
Right.
had a lot of new construction as a town.
No, we have a lot of old buildings that we're dealing with, and, this just proved how desperately we need this police. I mean, they're in the old fire station. That's what it was, and they've been jerry-rigging and dealing, and it's not safe conditions anymore, so it's kind of, and as you can see, we've even moved a couple detectives in a trailer. It's just, they're on top of each other. So, obviously, I'm pretty proud of the residents of the town of Belmont who came out and voted and obviously passed this bond issue, because, being born and raised in this town, it says a lot, okay? They really, you know,
Dave sits in your seat in our town in Northwich.
really, yeah,
He wants to know how you got it done.
Yes,
Well-
I've been trying now for 3 years.
it's a lot of, you know, I took it upon myself as a taxpayer, not as a selectman, as a taxpayer, to go out and really meet and greet and drink coffee and tea and whatever. But again, our police department's pretty active in this town and participate and are well seen and are well respected and well liked. I think, are you the oldest in the police department? I mean, I look at our police department.
I'm the longest tenured employee.
Is that what it is? He's the oldest, no. But we have some, what I consider, fairly young guys, and they're very active and.
We don't have cops, we have policemen.
Yeah, right.
And that's a real difference.
It is. We have some great guys, and, you know,
And I
it's,
think the town seconds that voice.
to be able to pass this, you're exactly right, and they appreciate that.
I think we, you know, Hunter, and I know myself personally, I mean, I really like working, doing projects in the smaller towns as well, you know, it's, you know, sometimes you get working in these large, you know, cities, in
Yeah.
Nashville, Manchester, and you just.
You're there.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's part of the project, the people are coming in, a lot of them are paid, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, but I feel like, you know, a lot of the smaller communities, everybody involved is there because they wanna be involved,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanna make a difference in the community.
There's a certain level of ownership they don't
Yeah.
get.
Of course it is.
And so I really enjoy working in the smaller communities.
And I think if things keep going the way they are, people are out driving around, it'll just be something different to go see going on, right? Okay. And again, some of these, it's kind of, what is your firm's track record of relations with property owners, local officials, and general public during construction? What are the types of problems encountered, and how has your staff dealt with those issues? And who does that? And how will those people be involved in this project? Which, some of that you've answered, but,
So on the front line,
Uh-huh.
Todd Sawmill's number will be posted you know, on the trailer, on the emergency cardboard. If anything comes up, you know,
You
here's
call him.
his number, here's who you gotta call. That's who your front line would be, because he'd be here full-time on the site. Second would be Dave.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a continued issue that this, you know, this continues to go on,
Mm-hmm.
then obviously I get called and I get involved and come out and we work through a solution. So,
Mm-hmm.
if there's something that's, you know, monetary or something above, you know, the decisions that they're certainly authorized to do, and they're authorized to run their job, but just something unknown, you know, that they typically would get me involved long before they got to the point that the owner would ever get me involved, so.
I'm pretty sure we won't have any vandalism issues.
well, you never know.
Can't trust them guys.
Nah.
Might be doing some homework. I think what we've seen, we see in all of the buildings that we're doing is there's always a huge interest from the public. You know, they want to see what's going on. I mean, I'm doing a nursing home addition right now, and of course you can imagine it's such an interest for them to get out and want
It's
to see.
entertainment.
And what we have offered many times, we welcome the site to be open for visit, as long as it's scheduled. You know, obviously there's a lot of safety hazards.
Yep.
You can't just let people
Oh,
on
no.
site. Todd's gonna be monitoring that, but as the construction is going along, this is a fairly, it's gonna be a fairly small site, but we're happy to, after hours, say, 3:30, everyone goes home from the, the contractor side. If, you wanna bring in people to do a site walk, we're happy to help organize that, and, Todd's, I'm sure, done many of those over the years. We could certainly, take people around and just make sure we plan ahead of time, and
Sure.
we're happy to do that.
All right, okay.
And then this handout here, we kind of came up with a site logistics plan.
Mm-hmm.
This would be kind of our thoughts.
You gotta ask the chief to move that tree with it.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, we'll back my truck up tomorrow.
You told me at the station?
First and foremost would be, safety with the men working here, and obviously public safety as well, and, keeping the chief open to his operations and coming and going, so. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just a rough draft that, can be adjusted, but this is typically what one of our job sites would look like. And we would be maintaining, the safety fences, and it'd be a daily checklist for us.
mm-hmm.
We kind of took the liberty of taking some of the parking area over what appears to be.
Oh, we figured that would happen, and obviously, we know we have a kind of another way out, so to speak. We understand that. And we do know we have a little parking area right across here too.
The biggest thing is there's a lot of material that goes into one of these buildings, and, finding a place to lay down that material.
I know,
But furthermore is scheduling. If you can have a tight schedule and you can get your material in as you need it, then you're not storing it, you can put it right to use, so.
sure.
We would be watching that closely as well.
Mm-hmm.
There would be a need to modify your plan just slightly if you were chosen. We have to maintain access to the park. So.
We've already modified that in our own mind.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it was built with land water conservation funds, and we can't restrict access to it, and without taking down other fencing and so forth, in order to get allow the public to go through there, we'd have to find a workaround with that.
And again, as we said, we will.
There's gonna be, of course, there's gonna be.
We wanted to, put something together of kind
Yep.
of what the concept would be, and then
Yep.
we noticed that as well, so, there'll
We
be
had to
some.
start with our wish list.
Pardon?
We had to start with our wish list.
Just like you started with a 15,000-foot building, it comes down to.
No, they didn't even start with it, believe me. Never would have got that passed. Okay. Last question we have, all right. Explain your firm's concept of value engineering. What does it entail? Who does it and why, and how does that affect the project's success?
I would probably be the one that's involved with that, because during the design of the project, there's usually what we call first steps: a schematic design, design development, and then the final contract on it. And it's during that process that we look at what are the materials, what are the systems, are they meeting within the budget, what's the cost benefit of one over the other. It may be something that we're proposing that would be a little more expensive, but when you look at your long-term cost of running it and maintaining it, it far exceeds your saving of maintenance, okay? And those are the types of things we look at, and we can consider value engineering. It could be a different change of a material, one brand versus another, but that's normally what happens during the design development of the project.
One of the things that just brought to mind, that when I was out doing my due diligence as a taxpayer, solar, that was brought up to me, and I personally I have no solar. Well, I shouldn't say. What do I have for solar? I have no solar at home. Huh? The pool. I know I had something for solar. I have solar panels on the pool. Yeah, we haven't had enough sun. But anyways, is that something that you've done a lot of, or is it even something that's worth looking at in a police department? I mean, help me with that.
If you have a good access to the sky and open sky. I think they've come a long ways.
Yeah,
And if you were in Massachusetts, their SREX package is energy savings
Yeah.
package is far more aggressive than New Hampshire has.
yeah,
New Hampshire is limited theirs to 1 megawatt, and for any any benefits from them, they won't pay beyond that. But there's a lot of companies now that will take your power bill, install a system, and guarantee you that power bill will be that for the next 10 years, and then you own the system. So some of those we would certainly, encourage you to walk through and just understand.
and look at. And I only ask that because obviously that was a question that was asked of me. I mean, we personally looked at it for our property, and for us, it was not cost prohibitive. I mean, I'd be dead and buried for 100 years before we ever paid for it back. So that was kind of, and I know once you own it, and if there's a problem with it, you gotta repair it, and it's out of your
One of the last
pocket.
we were involved with was in Epping, right?
No, I was actually gonna just say the East Rochester school I did, so they actually put the entire flat roof of the elementary school, they put solar
Did they?
panels on for photovoltaic, so, and I don't claim to be an expert on it, I only know some of the details, when they were looking at different companies, and at the time, this was in 2013, so,
It's changed a lot even since then, yeah.
it had to do with the tax credits for what you got, and
Yeah.
I know that municipalities were under a different, you didn't get, I wanna say it was you should maybe even talk to someone at the city of Rochester if you're interested in it, and they might be able to give you some, pointers on, what they did, because we were only involved in helping coordinate it, but, I do know it was a similar situation where they wanted to put, solar panels, but they obviously didn't wanna pay more and have the tax.
Right,
credit.
right.
So the company they worked with was more or less a broker. That's what they did. They worked with the solar companies for municipalities, and it was a New Hampshire company. So you might want to talk to somebody at the city of Rochester.
You must know somebody there.
I do.
There, see?
There
See?
you go.
See, yeah. And I'm not saying that that's, I'm just asking,
Well,
only
that
because
was one
I
of the
was
questions I had,
asked.
were you gonna pursue any
Oh, really?
alternative energies, or, I mean, there's
I
some
know
people that are.
Very adamant about it.
Yeah,
Right.
some of the lead practices, you don't necessarily have to go for LEED certification and pay for that, but there's some lead practices that'll certainly help you in the long-term, life and the energy use of the building that,
Right.
should be considered through that whole design process.
Yeah.
That'll be.
There was no upfront money that they had to pay. I know that. It was, which is obviously key. It was, one of those. Do we have to?
And that's where we're going. I mean, if our budget's close and we want to go solar and it's going to add that much more, then and those are the kind of things, obviously, that we're very conscious of. All right, we don't want to have a room full of people coming back at us and saying that, why didn't you look into this or why didn't you look into that? And I understand some of that stuff takes time, but we also need to cover our, the questions that were asked to us, I guess. John, I've asked the questions that we had. In the meantime, have you come up with any?
I'll go one.
Awesome.
Have you worked with this LaValle architectural firm before?
Valley Rensinger, we have, yes,
Quite a few times.
multiple times, and they're well-respected, and certainly, I think they would speak the same for us. We've done hospital work, school work, many projects together with them.
Thank you.
We've even hired them at the Monadnock Hospital as the architect in a design-build contract, so.
Okay. Sunny, any questions?
I think I'm good with it.
Think you good with it?
Yep.
Jean?
No, I think I'm good. We have 2 more interviews to conduct, one tomorrow and one next week, and I would expect that the board will then make a decision.
We're not gonna
Very
sit tight on
quickly.
this. I did. I wasn't gonna forget him.
You'll have to excuse him, he's an old employee and it's nap time.
Yeah.
We don't let him ask very much either.
Mark, any questions?
Yeah, just two, and you basically kind of independently kind of answered them. One of them was during imperative that I have a lot of impact in that as far as how the layout goes.
Right.
You've seen the drawing that's conceptual, it's totally screwed up. Doors upstairs, should be downstairs. I mean, there's a lot of things, but in their defense, they were just showing that in that 8,000 square feet, you could fit everything.
Oh, and they made that perfectly clear, that what they presented was just
But
conceptual.
doors, doors in certain places, location of things, and so it's imperative that I have a lot of input. And obviously, along with that input, the architect firm that's going to be doing the design needs to have prior knowledge of police departments, so they can also help me in making it, hey, we did this, it didn't work, you may wanna do this. Awesome. Because obviously, once it's built, it's built.
Right.
So we wanna try to eliminate that. And the other thing that I had was, and you hit it with the scheduling, was the, putting in a concrete. I have a fair amount of knowledge in concrete, my brother-in-law runs a concrete company, and pouring in the middle of the winter is not an ideal thing.
Right.
There's a lot of problems that come with concrete, I don't care how much calcium you put in it to dry it, whatever, so. that was
Totally
just one-
agree.
we kinda hit that with the October, November-ish thing, so we're not getting into the deep freeze, and the concrete's obviously gonna cure properly, and we're not gonna get the heaves or cracks and everything else you get with it. So, that was the most important thing, was the design portion of it. Very
You will
important. And I can tell you, I'm not gonna be so much of a pain in the backside, but, I'm gonna be pretty much involved during the whole thing.
You'll be involved
So-
from day one.
I'll have boots on, so, I'll be walking around.
We want you involved.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just important
No,
that it's put
because-
that way.
absolutely. We don't need the architect going down the wrong path from day one, so.
Well, that's important. It's really important, especially like if you wanna, maybe move forward with the project while the design portion is in progress. It's just getting it so it's laid out right. I mean, we're not dealing with a, 20,000 foot structure, so it's not like we've got a lot of room in there. We've got room, but we don't have room. So we gotta be careful of what we do.
Todd's got a good concrete background too, so.
Well,
Excellent. A lot. You can still walk upright. It's not bad.
He was a little hunched over as you missed him when the walk from the truck to the standing point.
The more he moves, then he stands.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
And that is one of the benefits we really didn't touch on. I think Laz explained that, we have 130 some odd.
Yes, that was, yeah.
We do self-perform site work, masonry, metal studs, ceilings, and we're not saying we're committing them to the project, because we can't do all of our.
Of course, yeah.
But it's the knowledge that these people have, Todd coming up through the field, like we just concrete, he's been there, he knows how things should be done. So it's that attention to the detail to make sure the subcontractors are doing it right. And that's the value we're providing.
Yeah, it all starts with a good foundation.
I was just gonna say that. You just took the words out of my mouth. It all starts right from the foundation. You're exactly right. If you don't get a good foundation in, you're
Site
fighting.
divisions, how you know it's us with the layout and the grade, so
Yeah, well.
everybody has it,
Yeah.
but we wanna.
And obviously, this is an interesting site, but it's not.
It may have some unique challenges when you get into it. I guess that was gonna be my next question is, do you have an engineer on staff? Because I think you are gonna need, they have given us assurances that it will fit and that there should not be any conflicts with the grade because we have to maintain obviously the road out here. But there are some concerns, that have come up from others. So we will definitely, that'll have to be
Just by
closely.
looking at it, there's gonna be, as long as there's no surprises underneath this building, there's gonna certainly be at least some temporary shoring and stuff to protect.
Of
it
course,
as well.
but you have, design build includes an engineer.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Design build includes an engineer. Okay. That was I want to make sure I understood that right. All right, okay. No, it's definitely, you can see, I can envision it here, that's for sure. I've done enough of
It's not
it.
a police station, but we're just finishing up a design of, under the design build contract of a 100-room hotel in Kittery, Maine. And just as that structure, BMA is out of Wilton, New Hampshire, is the architect. The engineer is local because he knows the jurisdictions and the
Sure.
people has a relationship right there in Kittery. It'd be a similar situation. And the consultants come in and create the outline in that particular one for the mechanical, the plumbing, the electrical systems, and then we take qualified subs that have worked with us on other Marriott products so that they know the brand and those requirements, and it just flows so much smoother than if you're trying to train somebody on the running the whole process. So, you know, without speaking negatively on La Valley, we would strongly encourage you, if you're going after the looking to contract the architect, or, you know, if you're gonna do under design build, there's specific talent right here in New Hampshire that that specifically specifies in police stations, and we'd want them to at least be involved in that bidding process to provide a proposal to provide those services, so.
Awesome. Any other questions? Look at that, we figured an hour. We're good. Well, just, thank you for coming. I mean, it's challenging times no matter what. Yeah. You know,
Be honored to be part of the team, and
Awesome.
I can tell you, me personally, when they said they want an in-person meeting. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have to speak into my computer screen. I can get my truck
Well,
and drive.
You know, we've been doing as much as we possibly can, and then
Be careless,
it
but
finally gets to the point that,
you have to just.
yeah.
And that's how, if you're gonna enter into a partnership, you're gonna work the next year.
We got all the goodies.
No, you have it, but you have to.
Yes.
There's nothing like a face-to-face meeting that.
Totally agree. I won't do an interview. I cannot do an interview on a machine. I have to see the faces.
Way more communication than just the
Yep.
words that come out of people.
That
Were you
is,
involved in the Tilton Police Department at all?
In the what?
In the Tilton Police Department, the building in Tilton?
No, I was involved until to the point of where, we did 2 proposals for them and supporting Bill Norton, who was trying to work with them. My dad and his partner, owned that whole Tilton, that whole 100-acre piece right there. So, to the point that I got it engineered and then divided off, and we submitted just on the as an RF to the responded to the
RFP. Yeah.
And we ended up losing out in the
Just kind of curious. I see they've already got the foundation in down there.
Well, but they've been at it for how many years?
This started 5, 6 years
Yeah.
ago. 5, 6 years ago.
I mean, I had a couple people calling me asking, "What did you do? How did you do this?"
Yeah, matter of fact, we the first time when we had that engineered, then they watched, so then Mark Bourgeois, MB Tractor, wanted to go to that piece. So we redesigned a way to have him put a tractor service building on there and storage, and then they came back. So
It's crazy. Awesome. All right.
Talk to Chief Marone there in Derry, though. You know, we've done, we sent the original station.
Yeah, I'll give that a call.
And, you know, and you can tell them I'm involved in it too. I did the addition.
All right.
And Dave Karen lives in Belmont,
Oh, okay.
so.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's exactly right. Of course. Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's lived in Belmont for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the Londonderry, right?
He was Londonderry, then he was in Jaffrey for a bit, and he is in Derry now, so, yeah.
The last I saw him was
He was in Belmont years ago.
Huh?
He was in Belmont many years
Yes,
ago.
many, yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Well,
Any other questions? I think we're all set. Thank you very much. I'd shake hands. I have a hard time not shaking hands, but unfortunately, that's social distancing. So I'm,
call that you've put your trust in us.
all right. I'm sitting on my hands, so I won't shake. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.